to the book smoke. Today I'm going to do kind of a short review slash book spotlight um, on The Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy and Other Stories by Tim Burton. As you all know, Tim Burton is a pretty famous director of lots of dark horror slash comedy movies. On the back, I read you the back of this because it makes more sense. It says the creative genius behind Batman, Edward Scissorhands, Sleepy Hollow, and The Nightmare Before Christmas now gives birth to a cast of gruesomely sympathetic children. Misunderstood outcasts who struggle to find love and belonging in their cruel, cruel world. His lovingly lurid illustrations evoke both the sweetness and tragedy of these hopeful yet hapless beings. And essentially, this is a collection of short poetry centred around different characters that Tim Burton has created. We have a character here called Roy the Toxic Boy. And another example, we have the Voodoo Girl here. And I've bookmarked a couple of pages because I just want to read a couple of these poems to you. And this first poem is called Mummy Boy. He wasn't soft and pink with a fat little tummy. He was hard and hollow, a little boy mummy. Tell us please, doctor, the reason or cause why our bundle of joy is just a bundle of gauze. My diagnosis, he said, for better or worse, is that your son is the result of an old pharaoh's curse. That night they talked of their son's odd condition. They called him a reject from an archaeological expedition. They thought of some complex scientific explanation, but assumed it was simple supernatural reincarnation. With the other young tots he only played twice, an ancient game of virgin sacrifice. But the kids ran away, saying, "You aren't very nice." Alone and rejected, Mummy Boy wept, then went to the cabinet where the snack food was kept. He wiped his wet socks with his mummified sleeves, and sat down to a bowl of sugar-frosted tanner leaves. One dark gloomy day from out of the fog appeared a little white mummy dog. For his newfound wrapped pet he did many things, like building a doghouse a la Pyramid of Kings. It was late in the day, just before dark. Mummy Boy took his dog for a walk in the park. The park was empty except for a squirrel and a birthday for a Mexican girl. The boys and girls had all started to play, but noticed that thing that looked like paper mache. "Look, it's a piñata," said one of the boys. "Let's crack it wide open and get the candy and toys." They took a baseball bat and whacked open his head. Mummy Boy fell to the ground. He was finally dead. Inside of his head there were no candy or prizes, just a few stray beetles of various sizes. And yeah, all these poems are accompanied by illustrations that Tim Burton drew himself. And they're all wonderful illustrations. And yeah, they're all very short poems. Sorry if I sound a bit nasally, I have a problem with my... This sounds horrible, but I have a problem with my left nostril at the moment, which I'm getting sorted with the doctor, so... But I will sound nasally. And this poem I'm going to read you now is called Anchor Baby. There was a beautiful girl who came from the sea, and there was just one place that she wanted to be. With a man named Walker who played in a band, she would leave the ocean and come out onto the land. He was the one that she wanted the most, and she tried everything to capture this ghost. But throughout all their lives they never connected. She wandered the earth, alone and rejected. She tried looking happy, she tried looking tragic. She tried astral projecting, sex and black magic. Nothing could join them except maybe one thing, just maybe, something to anchor their spirits. They had a baby. But to give birth to the baby they needed a crane. The umbilical cord was in the form of a chain. It was ugly and gloomy and as hard as a kettle. It had no pink skin, just heavy grey metal. The baby that was meant to bring them together just shrouded them both in a cloud of foul weather. So Walker took off to play with the band, and from that day on he stayed mainly on land. And she was alone with her grey baby anchor, who got so oppressive that it eventually sank her. as she went to the bottom, not fulfilling her wish. It was her and her baby, and a few scattered fish. And again, that poem's accompanied by illustrations by Tim Burton. Yeah, and this book is just a wonderfully written but sad at the same time collection of short poetry. And all the characters in the book are very kind of outcast. They're very, they're misfits. There's a boy called Stain Boy who is like the world's shittest superhero. All he can do is leave a stain wherever he goes, and things like that. And they all end up dead or whatever in classic Tim Burton style. If you've seen a Tim Burton movie, especially the ones featuring Johnny Depp, i.e. Edward Scissorhands, Sleepy Hollow, Nightmare Before Christmas, you'll understand kind of Tim Burton's style. Yeah, but all in all, this is 113 pages, and I read this in like literally about 15-20 minutes. It's that short, and all the poems are really short, and they're accompanied by beautiful pictures. Yeah, and it's just a really good book for people who love poetry or people who love Tim Burton as a director. Yeah, and it's really good, and I recommend it to everyone. So yes, I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. If you like this video, please like. If you wish, you may subscribe, and I will see you again later. Happy reading.